Hi, bestie. Welcome back to the podcast. I first want to say I'm just so honored and excited that you guys keep listening. And so many people have been joining Fiera because of the podcast. And let me tell you, I don't know what it is, but the girls coming from the podcast come into Fiera just rearing to go. Like, you girls are ready, and I'm eating it up. So I love it. Let me say this. If you've not listened to the episode before this, called Double Minded, I need you to go there first. Then come back here and listen to me again. But I need you to go to that episode first because that one provides so much context for this one. And remember what I said, all of these episodes build upon each other. I'm doing them in this order for a particular reason. So you got to listen to the last one before you listen to this one. Okay, so now that we're here, bestie, if you are trying to do more in 12 weeks than most do in 12 months, and you're doing it the way that I teach inside Fiera, where you set goals big enough that you literally have to up your standards just to even think about hitting them, then there is going to come a time, inevitably, where you hit that moment and start thinking, like, oh shit, I set some really big goals and I don't know how we're going to hit them. And when that happens, you're going to need some belief. To even set the stage for you, a year ago, Fiera did not exist. I was on vacation this time last year because my family basically goes on the same vacation every year because of my nieces. It's their spring break. It's a whole thing. So anyway, I was on vacation when preparing for this episode, and I was just thinking about where I was the year prior when I was on vacation. And I was thinking that I literally did not have Fiera because last year, I know on vacation, I was recording a video for a sales page of an old product that I retired. So Fiera wasn't even yet on my radar. It wasn't on my mind. I wasn't in that place yet. And now she's only about 6 months old, but there's over 100 people inside, which is crazy. But I'm saying this because I need you going into this episode being super open to possibility, to be open to what can actually happen, to what's available to you. Because I see so many people grappling with, I just don't know if I believe. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I can really do this. And I get it. Like, I get it. There are things right now that I'm thinking about where I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know. And I'm full of doubt and I'm scared and I'm insecure, and that's okay. I don't really know how I feel about it. But the thing is I don't think I need this perfect 100% belief. What I need is enough belief to take the kinds of action that would guarantee that I get the results. And not this like true guarantee, like I'm guaranteeing it's going to happen, but rather I'm operating at a level of consistency and discipline and enthusiasm and resilience where I'm very convinced results are available to me. And I promise so many of you guys are going to sit here right now and you're going to lie to me and you're going to lie to yourself and you're going to say, yes, I do believe that. I do. But if I followed a lot of you guys around for your average day, I would be saying, no, you don't believe that based on your action, because it's not about your ego and what your ego says. It's based on what do your actions and your behaviors and your patterns say. I was actually talking to a client today who he was asking me to tell him a little bit more just about subconscious minds and the neuroscience behind a lot of how this stuff works, which I do talk about in a lot of my courses. What I was telling him is that there's so many people who come to me and they're like, well, I don't actively think these bad thoughts. Like, I don't actively have doubt about myself. I don't actively blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, but your behavior says something so much different. That's because of the belief system that you operate on, even subconsciously, has a very different rule book than what you might be consciously saying to yourself. So that's why behavior and, actions speak louder than words. It's that vibe. But what I need you guys to really be clear on through this episode is, where do you actually stand with your self-doubt and where do you stand with your self-belief through your behavior? And this is kind of how I think about it. When you want to go after really big things, you want the disciplined mind, the sexy body, you want to build a business, you want to have literally a 7-figure business. You want to have the brand, you want brand deals, you want to move abroad, you want to do whatever it is. All things that I've either done or I'm doing, like the big things, right? There's one of 3 buckets that you might be operating from. Option 1 is just straight up, you don't go after it right now. You just don't believe in yourself or your ability to hit the goal. So you are not going after it. You don't fully try, but you stay wanting it. And this is such a shitty option. There are girls in my DMs who swear up, light, ref down that they want to lose weight, they want to start the brand, they really want to be making, I don't know, like $10,000 a month in business. But you told me that 6 months ago, and nothing's changed. Like literally nothing's changed. And you heavily sabotage. You don't invest your energy into your goals. You're procrastinating like crazy. You have a playbook of excuses you lean on, and you watch everyone else win from the sidelines. It's the worst option. And I love you. And there's people listening who are this. I literally told a girl the other day, she came to me and she was like, I'm really struggling to get my business off the ground. And we had a long conversation, and I deliver this kindly, obviously, but I told her, I was like, we had this conversation 6 months ago. You could have signed clients by now. You could have paid off your debt by now. You could be living in the apartment you want by now, but we're still having this basic conversation. This often happens if this is you because you don't even have strong enough belief to take the level of action that you really want. It's not that you don't have what it takes, you do, but you got to work on the self-respect. You got to work on your self-trust. You got to work on your regulation. Option 2, this is the second bucket, and we're going to spend more time here. You go after what you want, but there's an undercurrent of self-doubt the entire time. The whole time, you might not actively be thinking this. Again, this is more on your behaviors, but your behaviors kind of show this level of like, I just don't really know if I believe this is going to work. It's almost like you're taking action, but you're bracing for yourself to not hit the goals the whole time. And again, remember, if you're not honest on yourself with this episode, like your behavior is going to tell the truth, bestie. Like it's going to tell you what's what, right? So option 2 is where you go after it, but you doubt the whole time. And there's certain girls here who are great at covering it up. Ask me how I know, right? You cover it up with avoidance and overthinking and overcomplicating, making problems out of non-problems. And it's like you seem to face the same loops over and over and over again for months, and there's not really a solution on it. You're super aware, but they don't, like, those patterns don't get solved. These girls are always taking action, though. They're always running their business. They're always posting. They're always going to the gym. They're always thinking about their goals. They're always journaling about their goals. They're always trying to get there, but it feels slow. Most of the world is actually, like, I want to be honest, most of the world lives in option 1, where they don't really believe they can have these big things, so they talk themselves out of it. But the people who do pursue their goals, 95% of them operate within the bucket 2, option 2, where you're going after it but don't actually know or think it can work or believe it can work. Where you're pursuing things but from a place of not really believing. That's just prolonging the process. Part of you is still worried around failure and existing in scarcity and what people will think of you. Option 2, girls look disciplined enough, but underneath, they're bracing for it to not work. That's why it's slow. You're not in self-belief mode. You're in self-protection mode, where there's an element of you that's just trying to protect yourself from failure, from working hard and it not being paid off, from feeling disappointed, from experiencing shame, from other people seeing that maybe you weren't good enough. And protection is always going to be a slow process. It prolongs everything. And it's genuinely such a painful process. It is actually really hard to do it this way. It gets exhausting. I don't even have to tell you this because you know it's exhausting. So before we go into option 3, here's what you need to understand. If you're in option 2 and you know now, you're like, okay, I know I'm disciplined, but yes, I'm like, it's slow, right? I second guess myself. I exist in a little scarcity. I look at other people and wonder how I get there, like all that stuff. I want you to understand that if your doubt is slowing you down, your doubt is already way louder than you think it is. If your doubt is actively slowing you down, you're hesitating, second guessing, overwhelmed by the goals, getting complacent, pulling back, negotiating with yourself, that means your doubt has gotten loud enough that it's hijacking your actions. Even if you're not actively feeling it or thinking it, because again, we go by behavior on this episode. If you're at this point, your doubt runs you. It has control over what results you get. It's probably about 5 times bigger than you actually think it is. And at that point, you have to address it. You can't just keep ignoring it. Your doubt isn't just a thought in the background. It actually drives your behavior. And we get so afraid to face it. And I get that. I really, really do. But the only way you get out of it running you is by you facing it. And it's not that scary. But I think I see so many people. I talk to hundreds of girls a week And so many people are so busy trying to outrun their doubt and trying to pretend it's not really there and pushing it down. But all that means is that you're basically going to be in the same place 6 months from now. Yes, you've made progress, but life isn't blowing up. Life isn't drastically different. And that's what I want for you guys. Like, I literally want you to have a completely different life in 6 months if that's what you want. I was literally talking to one of my clients today, and when she started Fiera, like, she was just hoping for a small little increase at work, and she works at a private therapy practice. She today is literally a co-founder. We had a conversation today where she was like, I make enough money. I've never made so much money in my life. I didn't even imagine making this much money. And I make enough money that I actually don't even know what to do with my money. And bigger money goals don't even inspire me at the moment. Like, I need to have other motivations because I already have more money than I know what to do with. Like, that's insane. That's what I want for you guys, if that's what you want. But you have to stop pretending the doubt's not running you, because otherwise what you do is just play out the cycle, play out the cycle, play out the cycle, pretend it's not there, call it something else, blah, blah, blah. Like, get your power back. Name it. Name it right now. Like, you're actually going to feel so much more relief from that. Like, if you just said out loud, I don't know if I fully believe in myself right now, and I'm scared I'm going to fail, and I don't actually know if I'm going to pull this off. You get your power back. And the thing that I actually kind of just think through is, like, whatever I'm going after, whether it's a fitter body, running a marathon, hitting 50K months, getting brand deals, quitting your job, moving to Spain, I don't know, whatever. I ask myself, when I'm doubting myself and I'm playing out this cycle where doubt runs me, I ask, am I still going to want this in a few months? Is this going to stay on my mind? Because if the answer is yes, then okay, I'm not going to keep playing out this cycle. Why would I prolong things? I'm just making it harder and more exhausting and take a longer amount of time. I just have to learn how to stop doubting myself. That's that. And obviously that sounds simple, but I literally teach you how to do that inside Fiera. Then there's option 3, that third bucket. We're ready to talk about it now, okay? Where you go after it and you try your hardest to believe, or you actually do believe, which makes the process a whole lot more fun and easy. But I think a lot of you guys were probably guessing option 3 is like, oh my God, you have delusional self-belief and you're so certain everything's gonna happen. No. Okay, let's back that up. Option 3 is where you go all in, even without that perfect belief. You go after it, and it's okay if you don't believe, and it's okay if you're not sure, but you don't let the lack of belief undermine that. But again, you can go all the way in option 3, all the way to I do believe it's no problem, and obviously that makes it bigger, better, and faster. But option 3 is really about I have enough belief that I'm willing to really go all in on this, and I'm not going to let the doubt undermine me. So how I think about it is this. Right now, actually, there's this new approach that I'm about to take in my business and brand. A completely new thing I've never done. Sitting here right now, hand to God, I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work. Like, my raw thoughts is like, I'm afraid, and I'm afraid this is gonna fail. And I guess my worst case is that I just stay where I am, and that's not that bad. But like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, and like, it's gonna be a little exposing. And I don't know, but I know I want this, so I'm gonna go after it. I do doubt how well it's going to work out. I do doubt if it can work. I do doubt and question how long it's going to take for me to be able to pull this off. I'll give you an example. Yesterday was my least productive day of 2026. It was just not my day. Coming home from vacation, I don't know. It's just I was just having a day, okay? You know those days I was having a day. And I was sitting at dinner with my boyfriend, and he looked at me and he was like, I feel like you're in your head a little bit. What's going on? And I took this big dramatic sigh, and I was just like, I just don't know if I have what it takes. Like, that's where I'm at. I just don't know if I have what it takes right now. And he looked at me deadpan and he was like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Like, this is stupid. And you have to understand, like, we have a relationship where that's actually helpful for me and that's good and it's healthy for us. But he looked at me and he's like, we're not doing this. You literally have 5 years of being the girl who has what it takes and creates all this stuff. We're not doing this. Like, lock it up. And I was like, oh, you're right. Yeah, we're not going to undermine it. We're just going to lock it up right now. But that's the thing. It's not like, oh, I just say I lock it up. I know how to lock it up. I know how to not let it undermine what I do. And that's why I'm in option 3, bucket 3. The thing is, when I say I don't know if I believe it's going to work, but I still fully go after it, it's kind of this. You can either focus on the possibility of success or you can focus on the probability of success. If I focus on the probability of me pulling this off, the probability feels really low. Because when you're looking at the probability, you're basically looking back at the past, it's what's happened, and you're like, have I done this before? Do I know how to do this? I'm going to look at all the reasons why I can't do this. Like, there's no reason to measure the probability of success. But if I focus on the possibility of success, I'm way more open. So what I actually think of is like, well, is it possible? And it is, yes. Okay. And I want it. Yeah. So if it's possible and I know I can create it, why wouldn't I go after it? Why wouldn't I try? Why wouldn't I give it my all? And again, I'm not trying to operate like I have perfect certainty, which is what so many of you guys want, which is why you don't have what you want. But I make sure I don't doubt myself enough to slow myself down and get in my own way. If I know that I have the most success in option 3, bucket 3, which everyone does, and I know what happens if I exist in option 2, I refuse to be even in option 1. I don't play that game. I don't surround myself with people who play that game either. Like, why wouldn't I just work on the belief? Why wouldn't I get myself and lock in the doubt and really change it enough so that it doesn't get in my way? Why wouldn't I do that so that I could have what I want? Because the possibility is there and the probability is quite irrelevant if I'm someone who I know I'm going to do what it takes to get there. Because if I'm just going to keep coming back to, I want this, I want this, I want this, like, think about that thing that you want, the brand, the business, the body, the bank account, whatever. If you sit around thinking for prolonged seasons of your life, I want this, I want this, I want this, let's just create it. Let's just believe. And again, it's not like I have 100% certainty. Like, I keep telling this to you guys because I need you to drill it in. My natural inclination, if I just leave my brain alone, it's not super confident. It's not super disciplined. I'm avoidant. I'm insecure. I'm skeptical. Like, that's if I just let my brain be without doing any work. So if I leave it alone like that for probably at this point, weeks, months at a time, I go back into probability mode in option 2. And that's just not the place to be. So when I say I do my best to believe, I'm just trying to get myself back into a constant baseline state of, well, it's possible, and it's on me to create that, and I believe that I can, so I'm going to. And that's where it goes into a self-trust game. Do I trust myself to go after this? Do I trust myself to keep going? And if your answer is no to those questions, then you have to create enough micro proof that you can change your mind about that. You have to be able to create enough proof that you do trust and believe yourself to be someone who will keep going, go after it, and make it happen. And if you are sitting there listening to this, my God, I'm about to get heated. If you're sitting there listening to this saying, but how? But Kenz, how? How do I do that? Well, I can tell you're not in Fiera. And that is so sassy, but I genuinely mean that. Like, I can tell you're not in there. The reason I even started this podcast episode with the story that a year ago on vacation, Fiera did not exist is because at the end of the day, I never could have guessed Fiera was going to happen. If you had asked me this time last year, I wouldn't be able to tell you about it. I wouldn't have been able to tell you where I am today. But I knew I had a vision and I kept breaking it down day by day by day. But that can happen really fast when you're in option 3. You open yourself up to having a really different reality when you start working in option 3. But you have to work on your mind and your nervous system. I want to tell you a story. I even had a client who debated joining Fiera because she was like, I have no income right now and I want to start a business. And to be honest, $79 a month, which is what tier 1 of Fiera is, it can feel like a lot when you have no income. I get that. And she went back and forth for weeks on joining. She was very worried she wouldn't see progress fast enough. And even once she joined, she kind of freaked out for a minute with me. And that's okay, right? But she is now not even a month in yet. And she's signed 2 clients already in her business. She's in discussion for a $10,000 per month client. And we're now talking about her hitting goals like $20,000 per month. And it's not like that would be insane on its own. But it's not even that, but she's now going to therapy. She's gone to the gym for the first time this year. She's posted every day. She's had viral after viral video. She's developed more discipline through this month through our conversations than all of last year. I mean, I could keep going. But a month ago, she didn't believe any of this was possible. She was freaking out about $79. And now she's having discussions for $10,000 a month. That's a 6-figure cash year on one client. And we're going to go create more for her. But she was sitting on the outside of Fiera asking, but how? But then she decided to get in the room. You have to work on your mind. That's what she did. You have to work on your mind, on your nervous system, your discipline, your confidence, your belief, yourself. And I know that seems obvious, but just because you know you need to work on your mind doesn't mean you're doing it. Girls come to me all the time and they're like, well, I meditate and I journal and I've taken a mindset course, but it's like, what do you have to show for that? It's not doing anything. You got to work on it to levels and like make sure you're taking the action and actually growing, not just growing your awareness or growing your like library of self-help shit. You actually have to be changing. And that's what Fiera does. But here's what I know to be true. If I don't work on my mind actively, I'm going to get slowed down by sabotage, lack of validation, self-doubt, and everything is going to take longer. Or I can work on my mind, make it part of my routine, get myself on board with the possibility, and go after what I want faster. Because the question is, do I believe enough to take the kinds of action that would guarantee results? And you don't want to just jump up and touch that level of belief from time to time before it drops back down because you couldn't sustain it. It's actually about your baseline of belief. And this is something that I think I do very differently, and it's why people get results in my world, why even just watching my content or listening to the podcast is changing so many people's lives, though you should be in Fiera. But it's because I don't just try and get you to, quote unquote, be confident in certain settings, and then it crumbles when things stop going well. That's actually what I tried for years. It's the approach that a lot of self-help takes, and it's what you'll find a lot of online, where girls can feel confident in maybe one or two practice settings, but if you switch up the factors, the circumstances, the environment, someone prettier than you walks in the room, someone asks a harder question in an interview, you're out of your comfort zone, things stop going as well. If those kind of circumstances can throw you off, then your confidence gone. It's just that you felt good because things were going well in certain settings. You felt within your comfort zone. Besties, that's not the kind of confidence that we want. So I talk about baseline, which is basically when things aren't going well, when you're in doubt and you're in scarcity and whatever, how do you actually feel then? Because I want you to raise how confident you feel when shit isn't going well, you're out of your comfort zone, and it doesn't feel like things are working. Because if you can be confident then, if you can back yourself then, my goodness, you're golden, your life is made. That's why my girls in Fiera get crazy results. But you don't even need some crazy baseline, although you should want it and you should spend time creating it. You just don't need 100% belief. I did this in my last 90-day sprint. And if you're new to this, it's basically the idea that I really try and work in 12-week intervals where I spend 12 weeks really going after something so I can do more in 12 weeks than a lot of people do in the year. That's this whole podcast, right? So I did this in my last 90-day sprint. I did not think my goal then was adding $10,000 to my monthly recurring income. Like every month I wanted to make an additional $10,000. I, from that place, didn't know if I was going to hit that. I actually didn't believe that I was going to because Fiera was new. I wasn't talking about it a ton then, but I ended up adding $17,000. But the whole time I was thinking, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible. But that didn't matter because I didn't need 100% certainty. I just needed to know, well, if I apply myself, it's possible and I really want it and I'm going to make sure I don't sabotage and I'm not afraid of creating it. Can you even develop a level of neutrality where you're like, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm open to making it happen anyway? But you can't just say that once. You have to have the skill level to be able to say that, back it, mean it, live like it, not be double-minded, not backtrack on that. You have to be able to hold that. Because if you just say it, but then you don't follow through, you're still just living in option 2. So if you're facing this belief dilemma, if you're in option 2 or even option 1 and you want to be in option 3, I need you to start thinking about this. I don't need, and you can just say this to yourself, I don't need 100% belief. I don't need to be certain, but I do need to be open enough that I take strong action. And strong action isn't just, oh, I show up and take effort every day. It's not about effort. It's not just, are you working every day? Most of you are. It's like, am I taking action that is above my standard, outside my comfort zone? Am I really going after it? Am I making myself proud every day? Or even most days? Am I going after it from a place of, this can work, this can work, this can work, I'm open to this working? That kind of strong action. So I want you to check in with yourself. Are you option 1? Are you option 2? And don't be lying about it because your behavior tells the truth. Or what do I need to do to become stronger in option 3? Because if you're in option 2 and your doubt is slowing you down, it's time to address it. Work on your mind in different ways. Focus on possibility, not probability. Build your baseline. And if you need help with that, that's what we do in Fiera. Link to join us in the show notes. I would love if you guys could screenshot this, put it on your stories, tag me, DM me after you tag me, like tag me again, message me again because I'm too slow to get to it. And I know you guys keep tagging me and I just need to get my DMs faster. But it means the world to me that you guys listen, that you guys are loving it. And I will catch you guys next week.